So a pilgrimage is not a short trip. Nobody says I'm going up to the store or to Aunt May's house, I'm going on a pilgrimage. By its very concept, it's a journey that must be endured. So this indicates that the United States will be a boiling pot of hell, marked by violent civil unrest and conflict, which is occurring more frequently but will intensify after November 4th. Now, this is described again in the Book of Nahum, which talks about God's punishment on Nineveh. It states, "Woe to the bloody city," meaning Nineveh. "It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The noise of whip and the noise of rattling of the wheels, and of the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses." Now, this refers in part to the tanks and heavy armament that will patrol the streets of the United States in an effort to subdue the vast civil unrest, which has already started and will continue regardless as to who wins the office of the presidency of the United States on November 3rd. The results being given perhaps November 4th. Now, the winner of this election is already deeply cast or betrayed by his opponent in the mass news media as the one who will destroy this nation. So what the American people are facing is damnation if you do, damnation if you don't. So President Trump has stated this about Joseph Biden. If he gets in, hell will follow. And Joseph Biden has already said this about Donald Trump. If he remains president, we're plunging into anarchy. And the democracy is destroyed. So how are people fielding this? You're not dealing with an election of a presidency. You're dealing with an election in the minds of the people that is do or die. Anyone you select represents death in the minds of some people. So each camp's ardent supporters are frightened and armed to the teeth. And black people are in the most vulnerable state because regardless of who wins the election, we will be violently attacked and murdered wholesale with no recourse from government. See, right now we're marching. And we find it somewhat satisfying to get up into the face of a military, paramilitary person, whether it's National Guard or federal or local police, and do whatever we're going to do and say whatever we're going to say. But you will see that come to an end. And this was planned all along by our mortal enemies. So if Biden wins, then black people are the enemy of white people who want this country to be safe. Because we've already been portrayed as the looters and rebel rousers. And if Donald Trump wins, then it'll be open season for black people with no recourse. See, now you think you can run to a courtroom and get justice, which I don't know why we would even think that. But that facility won't even be set up for you. It'll be so much murder that those who you think will intervene, all they can do is sit back, wash their hands, and drink a cup of coffee. You mark my words. And although in our ignorance we have fallen into this quagmire, Allah is aware of it. And He's our God. But I'm talking to the foolish among us. So I'm advising black people to be careful in protesting or celebrating the results of this upcoming election. In fact, you would be wise to stay in your homes because you will have to protect your neighborhoods. And you should prepare to stay in your homes. That's my advice from Allah to the black people of the Western Hemisphere. Now, our mortal enemies, the enemies of God, our God, Master Fard Muhammad, the leaders of the United States government, and the Caucasian people, are enemies. They're the enemies of God. They're our enemies. And they are those in government who lead government and who lead Caucasian people, our enemies. They're determined to annihilate millions of black people in the United States. These demons are now drumming up various avenues to justify their wicked aim to destroy us. And many Caucasian militias and hate groups are also involved. And even some Arabs are involved in this treachery, planned against black people of America, God's chosen people. So this is the time of Allah's vengeance. So I am asking our God, in the name of His Christ, to send waves of tornadoes upon the United States, the like of which has never been witnessed or even imagined. And I'm also asking Allah, our God, to send a chastisement of the same severity to the Arab world, so our enemies will know the seriousness of thy vengeance against them for the evil planned against chosen people.